In this module, we're learning how to restricting data and sorting data. Well, this restricting is much more advanced than what we covered in the previous module. Let's go connect to Oracle through the PuTTY. I'm going to load the PuTTY connecting to Oracle 11. And again, I'm going to put my Unix user ID and putting the password. The user ID is DE45801. Password is my password. Say DE and it logged to Unix. Now I want to connect to Oracle. Then I'm going to say SQLPL-US DE45A and password, and we connect to Oracle. Let's select this basic hiring date from employee table, and as we described previous lecture, describe the or table that in this example we're using, and that table is employee table. I misspelled that one. Describe employee table, and we're going to see that employee table consists of several roles, several attribute, which is several column, and one of the column is the hiring date is date data type. Now if I display the date data type, let's go ahead do the select statement that I have right here. This select statement, bring it in my PuTTY, display in my PuTTY, executing, and you're going to see that the date display, the date, there are normally 2 digits of the day, follow up by abbreviation of the month, follow up by 2 digits of the years. That's the default date format. If that's the default date format, Oracle is smart enough when I'm going to using a date hiring date, which is a date data type, in one side of the equal statement, and either in the other side of the equal statement a string which has default Oracle format, Oracle date format, which example like this one, 09 July 98. If I use that format, Oracle implicitly convert this string to a date and compare a date with a date. So I have this example right here, highlighting, bringing right here, execute it, and you're going to see that it is returning me only one last name. So the where clause that we're using right here, really in this example we're filtering out all other user which the hiring date not equal to 17 February 96, and it only restrict the row to date February 17 1968. So in this chapter we're learning how to restrict more row, sorting more row, and using ampersand. Also we work much more in the using operators such as equal, not greater or equal, less than or equal, between, in, null, as you're going to see in this screen. Here's the syntax format when we try to limiting the row selection from a table. As you're going to see that we're using select asterisk, or we're going to select distinct. So when we're using asterisk, we cannot use the distinct. So we're using select asterisk from the table where clause, or we selecting distinct column combination with the expression using alias, and name it from table where the condition, and condition right here could be condition, equal sign, not equal sign, greater sign, less than sign, all this operator that we use right here, like equal, less than or equal, greater or equal, between, in, like, and also we're going to talk about the condition which we're using null, plus combining those with the and, or, and not operator. Here's this basic example that we used in the previous module when we're using department ID is equal to 90, and so we use in this example equal. Here's a couple more example that we using where the name, or we use this, we run this example where the date, we're using hiring date. This is last name equal to a string. This is hiring date, which is a date data type, equal to a string, which we said Oracle implicitly convert this one to a date data type. But if I change this date and I put February 17/06/96, Oracle cannot detect that one. It's going to return you error. Let's try that again. As you notice in this example, all we did in this example is working perfectly as we explained it before. But this example, we moved the February to first at February 17/96. But if we execute this one, Oracle generate for us an error because it cannot implicitly convert that date. And it's going to say one side is numeric, the other side is the date, and it cannot execute that one. How we going to resolve this issue? We're going to discuss this one. Here all the operator, the comparison operator that we have. In the previous module we spoke about the arithmetic operator, but right here we dealing with the comparison operator. Comparison operator, these are all possible, and interesting one is that between, and also in and not in, like and is not. Also right here not equal, we have another operator we can use not equal also. Here is the example for salary less than or equal to 3,000. Here is the interesting example, salary between lowest limit to upper limit. So including 2,500 and including 3,500. Let's try this example. I'm going to highlight the example, right click, copy that one, and go to the my PADI, display and execute. And you're going to see that it's going to display the highest range with 2,500 and the lowest range, which is also lowest range, which is 2,500, and highest range, which is 3,500. We're going to see both range. This between operator is only work for number to number. You cannot morning and afternoon, or for example January to February. No, only this one deal with the lower limit number and higher limit, upper limit number. The next operator that we're going to use is in operator, and we're going to say manager ID is equal in this list, and list include be one item, two item, or three item. One item is equal to n item is acceptable. Let's try this example and see the result. And as the result of this example, you will see 14 row display. 14 row display. Let me run the example again, and the manager ID in this list. Now, interesting question is going to be, if I put not in right here, it's going to make that one reverse and display all the lists except the 100, 101, and 202 and 201. Let's try that example. So I changed the in to not in and running this example. And you're going to see this time it displayed 36 row, in contrast to the one which is we use the in operator. We're using not in operator. Let's try an interesting example and try if we combine it with the null. Here I'm going to adding a null option. This null option caused that nothing should be returning. Why? Because when I attempting to execute this operation, first you're going to compute this list, which is right here, and compare one by manager ID to display the justified role, or role which is have They are not in the list 100, 101, 201 and null. But since we said the null is unknown and defined undefined, unknown and unacceptable, and no way that we can compute and return a row which consists in null field, null value in the field, it should not return any row for us. Let's try this example. As you can see, no row display, but if I remove the null, it's going to display all the employee ID, last name, salary, manager ID, which they are not in the 100, 101 or 201. Or even if I remove the not and null, when we use it without the not is okay. So let me use another terminology and tell you change the not to null. By the way, this description you can find out in the end of your book, how you can use the change the buffer content. And you're going to see that this time it's going to display us the list because we took it the not out. The next operator which we're going to use, that one is the like operator. Like operator is in let's say it's behave somehow similar to equal statement, but equal which is using the null format. What I mean, first run this example and I'm going to tell you the difference between the like and null. Display the first name of all employee which their first name start with uppercase S and follow up by any other character. Here you go, I display that one and ask it to display me the list. And you're going to see if find out 7 employee which their name start with the S. But if I want only Steven, let's consider this example, I only want to get the Steven name, I can use the equal operator. So in this example, since I know I'm looking for a Steven, even I can use select first name from employee where first name like Steven. This example work too. You're going to see that I execute select first name from employee where first name like Steven. And it displayed two Steven, in fact there is a duplicated name, first name Steven, 2 employee we have with the same name as Steven. Also the equal statement, we try the equal statement and that one also worked too. This example is correct example too. The like operator has more feature. I would like to find all employee last name that the first character could be any character, A to Z, 0 to 9, alphanumeric, numeric, number, whatever. But the second character I want be O, and it's supposed to be followed up by any string. This is this format of this example. So let's put it this way. The first character, which is underscore, it means optional, any letter, any character, any let's say any letter character or any number character. The second character should be O, lowercase o, and after the O could be any string. Now using the wildcard for a string, which is this one, and wildcard for a single character or alphanumeric character, which is this one, it give you the combination of these two, allow you to extract any type of the last name that you're looking or any type of the string that you have in your database field. Let's try this example too. And you're going to see as a result all this list that display the first character, it could be any character, but the second character is lower O, lower O, lower O, lower O. And the remain after that one could be any combination of the character, a wildcard string. Here is another good example of using null. We can use the null and find out the field that containing a null, rows that containing a null field. For example, select this info from employees where manager ID is null. It only return the employees, their manager ID is null. Let's try this example too, and you're gonna see that King is the only employee which is manager ID is, King is the president, and he does not have any manager. Let's make the work clause more interesting. If I'm looking for all employee which is the last name like this option, the first character I don't care what it is, the second one is O, and follow up by a sequence by a set of the character, whatever it could be, a wild character, single wild character, string wild character. Also I want that their salary be greater than 2000. So this is an example. I'm restricting the number row that I'm going to selecting by using an operator such as and is much more restricted than or. Let's run this example and look at the result. Let's see, I got error. Let me see what is the problem. Okay, it displays something else for us. Let's say display the string that we have, and you're going to see that it display 8 row when we're using the salary 2000. Let's change the salary to 4000, change the 2 to 4, and now the salary 4000, it generate 4 row. So you're going to see we're restricting more. Now I can change this operator to and to or, and when or is more loser operator than the and operator is more restrictive. Let's look at change the and to or, and you're going to see that this time we're going to get 28 employees. We can make it more interesting and also put an employee ID is null. This is another interesting one that we can combining or an operator. Let's try to do this example, run this example too, and you're going to see that no row selected because the employee, all the employee that we selecting, they have their manager ID is not null. I changed this example in this time is not null, and let's see how many row we're going to get this in this query. And you're going to see that we'll be able to extract 8 row out of the table. So we use the combination of these 3 operators, comparison logical, using the logical operators such as and, or, and not. We use the combination of all these 3. Here is another example in your book that use the salary and job. Here is another example that you're going to use the like operator, combination of the like and or with greater or equal sign. Let's run this example, and I have something new for you. Let's consider in this example that we ran, we use the salary greater or equal to $10,000. Now I'm going to the line 3 and I'm going to ask it to change greater equal to not equal, and running this example, and you're going to display 51 record. Well, in this example, this is the, as we said, this is the not equal operator. There is another not equal operator that we used in the previous version of the Oracle. Let me try that one. Change the greater less than sign to not equal. Not equal is the same way, so I can say greater less than is not equal. This one also means not equal, the same not equal that we use in the other programming language. Let me see. No, it didn't take the change. So go to the line 3, change the content of the greater less than to not equal, which is the same, and let's see is it work or not. Yes, list my record buffer, it did it, and see also this one is working too. So this is another operator which is the similar not equal. Let's have a comparison table. Let's consider comparison operator, logical operator, comparison operator. Let's consider we have in the where clause that in the statement we executing like this. Salary could be greater than 10,000, or job like, or salary could be greater than 2,000 and job ID is not null. Any combination of this operator. Let's look at that example. So if the salary greater than 1,000 and employee ID is not null, well, I change the employee ID less than 200. Let me change this one, the value less than 200. Let's look at this example. If this one true and this one is true, you're going to return that row in the select statement. Let me bring this select statement also right here in the same screen, so we'll be able to see that. So if this relation between this and this and is true, if this one and this one is true, you're going to return that row when we execute the select statement. So the select statement return the row. If the first one is false, the salary is not greater than 10,000. Let's say just this one, 10,000, and employee ID not equal, and this one is true. So let's put it this one scenario. The second one, salary is false, this comparison is false, and this comparison is true. The result is no row returning. And the third one, if the first one is true, this one is true, again this condition is true, but this condition is false, still it won't return a row. And finally, if both of this false and false, it won't return a row. So this is the way you're going to see that the AND is more restricted than the OR operator. We're going to talk about the OR. But before we go into the OR, let's consider that this field employee ID less than 200, employee ID maybe is null. Or let's say salary, we didn't assign a salary for a customer and that one is null. So any null that combining with this one, true and null, is a known, result is null. If the reverse of that one, this is null and this is true, null and true, the result is null. So the combination of any null is a known, unapplicable, and we cannot use a logical operator. So we apply a logical operator against that one. And so as a result, it won't display any row. Let's look at the example if we're using the OR. OR is much more loose and we can display more row. So row, or when we're using the OR operator, if the first condition is true, the second condition is true, the second one is yes, the third one is yes, you're going to return the row only when the false and false does not return any row. So we covered this agenda. The only portion that remains for this chapter is going to sorting and substitution variable